Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another Under the Micro session. In this session, we're going to be looking at OET reading part C and looking at ways of identifying the writer's opinion within a text. So a good session coming up, which I hope will help you develop some important skills for what is a challenging part of the exam. So shout out to everyone. Just type in your location wherever you are. It's just gone 8 a.m. here in Brisbane, in Australia. How about your location? Just type in the chat, everyone, where you are. I'll just wait for that to appear. All right, just waiting for a message. We're streaming on YouTube. That's working. Hello to Iran. Hello to Nigeria. Just waiting for our Facebook session to load up. If there's any tech members out there, please just check on the Facebook feed. Seems like Facebook not quite coming up yet. Just trying to fix that, everyone. All right, but we'll continue. We got the big YouTube channels here. Hello to Libya and Lesotho. Hello to Egypt and Pakistan. Welcome to Kenya and the Philippines. Good to see people coming in from different locations. Wonderful. All right, let's get cracking, everyone. We have content to cover. And you'll get a little opportunity to if you have any particular concerns about reading that you want to drop in the chat box, please do. Jyoti mentions a bit weak in reading. We'll help you with that. Nurse Debbie says, I have some questions about part A. We're not really covering part A today, but welcome to, you never know, we might be able to help you in some way there. But really, we're all about multiple choice questions today, everyone, but we'll do some tips at the end of the session as well. So first of all, we're going to identify the writer's opinion, but to do that, we need to read between the lines. So the first question I have to everyone, what does read between the lines actually mean? You've heard of this idiom, you need to read between the lines. But what does it mean? Does it mean you actually are looking for something in invisible text between those lines? Is it a literal meaning or is it a figurative meaning to read between the lines? Type in your answers there, what you think. And while I'm waiting, we can see someone's written, I understand the text fully, but time is tight to answer all the questions. Yes. And that's that process, that analytical process that you need to develop there. Time is tight. You will use all your time. So you need to follow a process of elimination. Hannah says, to get the overall meaning. Yeah, I think that's a good way to summarize the overall meaning of a particular phrase or 2 or 3 sentences combined together. Yep, that sounds like quite a good definition. What else have we got? Read between the lines. Frank says, read every detail. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say read between the lines means that. To read between the lines is to understand the overall message that's coming through. You're looking at what's not said directly, but rather what's implied. Yep. Muhammad says that central idea. Yep. Grabbing the gist. Yes, the gist is important. Batung says, I think it means is read as quickly as possible to get the gist. Nothing about reading as quick as possible. Just read between the lines, not about time, although obviously that helps in an exam. but yes, really getting that main idea. So when you read between the lines, you try to understand what someone implies, but doesn't openly state when they say or write something. And this is really the crux of the OET, a multiple choice question exam, such as what OET's developed for Part C. You're always going to have to look for implied meaning. That's the type of questions that you're going to face. They're not going to be simple, just search, and not fact-based, quite different. Reading Part B, don't really have to read between the lines in reading Part B. You just have to find the right facts, and it's often very clear if you can find it. Reading Part C, completely different. You're looking for that underlying message. So the answer choice, the words in the text, will not be the same as the words in the answer choices. So you're going to have to use your powers of inferencing, implied meaning, and deduction to kind of understand what that writer's opinion is. So that's what we need to do. And the type of questions that you'll see in the reading Part C reflect that, because we can see here on this page the type of questions that we have in the first paragraph. What is the writer's attitude regarding something? So again, an attitude, a belief. So it won't be stated directly. In the second paragraph, some critics believe. So it's not always writer's opinion. The writer might be writing about what other experts say. So some critics believe, all right? And again, that will be implied. In the third paragraph, the writer highlights the importance of. So we're looking for something which is emphasized when we see a word like highlights. What point does the writer make in the fourth paragraph? So some questions, you can read the whole paragraph and it's all on the same topic with the same focus. So you're getting that main idea, the gist. So what point does the writer make? In the fifth paragraph, it is suggested, this is a very open question, it is suggested that. So something is suggested. Again, with the word suggested, it kind of implies that it's not said directly. Again, it's implied. In the final paragraph, the writer states that. Again, he might state something, but it's an opinion, so it will be in different words to what you see in the text. All right, and a few other comments coming through. Thank you very much. Peter says, how to quickly eliminate two options that are completely out of context. Well, I think the simple answer to that one, Peter, is to understand the text. So you have to read the text to be able to do that. That's the only way you can do it consistently and accurately. So I definitely believe that the Part C's, even for listening as well, it's the most academically challenging part of the exam. Reading Part C, it really is. And number one, you've got to have good reading skills to achieve a good score. So we'll demonstrate that a little bit now. And at the end of the session, I'm going to give you some tips that you can use to build your own skills. So firstly, what are we doing here? Well, we're doing critical thinking. So what is critical thinking? Well, I would say, particularly when it comes to multiple choice questions, there's a few things you need to do. I'll start on the right-hand side, engagement. You've really got to engage with the question stem, the text, and the answer choices. That means you can't afford to be distracted and have other things going through your mind, such as, oh dear, I don't have enough time, time's running out, the person next to me is going faster than me. You can't have, if that's happening, you're not focused or engaged. So you really have to be at one with the task that you're doing. You have to breathe, remain calm and focused. Very important. Then once you start reading, we'll call this the analysis section. You're going to read the text, right? You're going to read it carefully. You're going to be observant. You're going to notice signal words and transition signals between sentences. You're going to notice complex sentences, including dependent and independent clauses. You're going to notice comma, the punctuation, right? You're going to notice if information is repeated. That's really that analysis so that you understand the structure of the paragraph. Very important. Then when you come to the actual questions themselves, you're going to look at them A, B, C, D, and you're going to have to use your logic to make decisions whether that section matches accurately what you're reading in the text. You're not looking for a 50% match. You're not even looking for a 75% match. You're really looking for 100% match there, because quite often you'll find answers are sort of half right. You can find some of the information in the text, but it's not complete. All right, so that's where you use that logical reasoning. And that combination of those three things is what we call critical thinking, all right? To think critically, to use your analytical skills to make choices. Now we're going to look at QTA method. This means read the question stem, then read the text, read the answers. You can mix it up. You can do question, then answer choice and text. But honestly speaking, for reading part C, I don't see a great advantage in reading through all the answers unless you're really running out of time, because the answer choices, you can't really predict what the answer is going to be. They're designed in such a way that it's difficult to be able to go, this must be C. You really need to understand, and that's the way the test has been designed. So here's our first question, everyone. Here's our first question. And these are just, I've just picked, they're all different articles, and I've just picked 3 different questions from 3 different reading texts just for an analysis. So in the 5th paragraph, it is suggested that. So we're looking something suggested. There's some idea. This is a very broad question. It could be anything. Straight away from the question, it says, right, we need to read the 5th paragraph to answer this question. Let's read it together, everyone. Okay, so we're halfway through, and the topic, everyone, is brain-controlled prosthetics. That's the article title. It's an OET Senate-produced task, and we're looking at paragraph 5. Okay, however, this technique won't work for stroke patients like Kathy Hutchinson. So there's our first signal word. So some researchers are skipping directly to the brain. In principle, in theory, in principle, this should be straightforward, because signals from specific parts of the body go to specific parts of the brain. Scientists should be able to create sensations of touch or proprioception in the limb directly by activating the neurons that normally receive those signals. Now, a very important word, however. So this is in principle, right? Watch out for these words, should. In principle, it should be straightforward. So my first question is, it should be straightforward. Is it straightforward? We will see. However, with electrical stimulation, all neurons close to the electrode's tip are activated indiscriminately. That might be a difficult word for some people. Maybe you're going to underline it. What does it mean? All neurons close to the electrode's tip are activated indiscriminately. So even if I had the sharpest needle in the universe, that could create unintended effects, says Arto Nomiko, a neuroengineer. For example, an attempt to create sensation in one finger might produce sensation in other parts of the hand as well, he says, right? This is what this person says. So we've read the article. Now we've got to go through and decide what the answer is. And I'll bring through some choices for us. What is suggested? Okay, we have a look at A. Severed nerves may be able to be reconnected. All right, so when we try to answer this, we have to try to find some sort of connection. So we've got to do a bit of searching. Severed nerves may be able to be reconnected. I don't remember reading that. Does anyone here remember reading that? It does say a few things. We should be able to create sensations of touch by activating the neurons. Well, we said we should be able to do things, and that's that sense of touch. So that relates to the nervous system. But it doesn't seem to say may be able to be reconnected. I'd be doubtful of that one, everyone. It doesn't really sound right to me. I couldn't really find synonyms for these words. So I'm a bit doubtful there. More research needs to be done on stroke victims. Oh, I did read about stroke. We got stroke patients, right? And there's a technique that won't work for stroke patients, right? So some researchers are skipping directly to the brain. Okay, it says more research needs to be done on stroke victims. But this says researchers are skipping to the brain. So that's a typical type question you'll see in OET where we've got stroke patients here. That's a synonym. We've got researchers here, but it doesn't line up. It's a different research. So it's wrong, right? It's wrong. We know that it's incorrect, folks. It's a classic type question, everyone. Be careful not to get trapped with these type of questions where they talk about research, yes, but the subject of the research is wrong. That's understanding. C, it's difficult for scientists to pinpoint precise areas with electrode. A lot of people are going for C. All right, so we'll find out in a minute if that's correct. Let's jump to D. Scientists' previous ideas about the brain have been overturned. Have we overturned previous ideas? Scientists' previous ideas. I don't remember reading about previous ideas. So it's really not the topic. It is actually what people are saying. C, it's difficult for scientists to pinpoint areas with an electrode, but let's think about that. A lot of people got it by the look of it, but let's think about that. How do we know that matches? Let's look at this sentence, everyone. And it comes after the word however. However, with electrical stimulation, all neurons close to the electrode tips are activated indiscriminately. So even if I had the sharpest needles in the universe, that could have unintended effects. So the question though, how does that match with C? It's difficult for scientists to pinpoint precise areas with electrode. Well, let's look for some synonyms. Pinpoint precise areas. Well, we got a few things. We've got scientists, so I suppose Arto Demerka as a neuroengineer, I suppose we could say this person is a scientist. Let's look at a few more things, everyone. Pinpoint precise areas. However, with electrical stimulation, well, that relates to an electrode, electrical stimulation. All neurons close to the electrode's tip, we've got the word, are activated. So all neurons close to the tip are activated indiscriminately. Pinpoint precise, well, they can't pinpoint, can they? Pinpoint one single neuron. They cannot pinpoint. So there's our synonym. And what about this, everyone? It's difficult. It doesn't say anywhere there that anything is difficult. So how do we know this is the answer? Because it's implied. If you can't do something, right? If you can't do something, then it's difficult. That's the trick. because it says, even if I had the sharpest needle in the universe, that could create unintended effects. Therefore, it is difficult for scientists to pinpoint areas with an electrode. So that's what is suggested there. Anyone have any questions? So I noticed when I'm working with a lot of students, some people are trying to find synonyms for individual words. You'll find some synonyms, absolutely, but not all synonyms will be there. So that's where you got to use deduction and understand meaning. All right? All right. Now, a lot of people went for C. Did you see how we do that? We ruled out those answers, and then we worked our way through, and C was the most suitable choice. But we really just do notice how it was in completely different words, but the meaning matches. So we're matching meaning. Okay, let's try another one. And this time we've got the what point. What point does the writer make in the fourth paragraph? What point does the writer make? I'll just go back one sec, sorry. Soward says pinpoint synonym. The pinpoint synonym, we have to go back, because I will try to answer that. It says here, all neurons close to the electrode tip are activated. So if the pinpoint is to get one neuron, like a pin is a very fine thing, a very fine point to pinpoint to get exact neuron. So that's what pinpoint means, a precise area. You can't, all right? And that comes from that word, sorry to recap here for you all, everyone. It says everything is activated indiscriminately. So that's the opposite. There is no pinpoint. Everything gets activated. Therefore, it's a broader area. So it's the opposite there. Okay. We do need those questions. All right. Next one. What point does the writer make in the fourth paragraph? So again, what point? We don't know. It's going to be a single point. It's going to be like a main idea or something specific. We don't know yet. Let's have a look. So this one is from the placebos, everyone. The placebo effect. And we're starting with but. But the placebo effect isn't just about fake treatments. It's about raising patients' expectations of a positive result. Something which also occurs, watch out for these words, something which also occurs with real drugs. So that's saying placebos and real drugs have something in common. Finnis cites the open hidden effect. Ooh, what's the open hidden effect? It's in inverted commas. Pay attention to this, these inverted commas. The open hidden effect, whereby an analgesic can be twice as effective if the patient knows they're getting it compared to receiving it unknowingly. So there we go, everyone. Make sure you understand that definition. Open, an analgesic can be twice effective if the patient knows they're getting it. So that means it's open. And hidden, compared to receiving it unknowingly. If you receive it unknowingly, it's hidden, right? So watch out when there are definition of words like that. Understanding that and referring back helps your overall understanding. Make sure whenever you're reading yourself at home, that you always analyze and make sure you understand what you're reading. The more you do it, the better you will get at it, right? Don't just move on. You've got to go back over it and analyze it and understand. As I said, the more you do it, the better you will get. Treatment is always part medical and part ritual. All right. So two things, part medical and part ritual. If anyone wants to explain ritual, you're welcome to. Says finesse. This includes the austere consulting room and even the doctor's clothing. But, watch out for this word, but behind the performance of healing is some strong science. Simply believing, this is for emphasis, everyone, simply believing an analgesic will work activates the same brain regions as the genuine drug. So belief is important. Part of the outcome of what we do is the way we interact with patients, says Finesse. So this is the outcome, their recovery, how they react to their treatment. Part of the outcome of what we do is the way we interact with patients. So what point is being made? Interesting question. Okay, let's look at A. The way a treatment is presented is significant even if it's a placebo. Sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? What do you think, everyone? Could it be A? The way a treatment is presented is significant. Well, I do talk about the way treatment is presented, right? They do talk about that, the way we interact with patients. I'll say here, possibility. I'm not sure. If I was doing this on exam day, I'll put a little question mark there. Maybe. B, the method by which a drug is administered is more important than its content. So when I'm analyzing language here, I like this type of answer. I think I can easily rule it in or rule it out. The method by which a drug is administered is more important than its content. Well, it says treatment is always part medical, part ritual. It's not saying one is more important than the other, right? So this is one of these easy rule outs, right? Not saying, not comparing to, they're actually, the impression I got is that they're equally important, right? It's both. C, the theatrical side of medicine should not be allowed to detract from science. So theatrically, interesting word, the theatrical side, the presentation should not be allowed to detract from science. So this is saying we're doing too much theatrics, too much of the way we present it. But that's not what it's saying here. It's not saying, it's not supporting science, is it? It's saying they are both of importance. So it's not saying science is more important. It's saying they're equal. So I don't think it's C. D, the outcome of a placebo treatment is affected by whether the doctor believes in it. Have we spoken about a belief, everyone? The outcome of the treatment is affected by whether the doctor believes in it. Well, they say part of the outcome of what we do is the way we interact, but do we have a synonym for belief? Doesn't really mention that, does it? So now we've got to come back to where we think the answer is. And we can rule out these. The answer is A, and it matches the whole idea of the paragraph. For this one, there's not a particular sentence that says that. It's supported all the way through. So a lot of you have written in A. Well done if you did. It is A. The way a treatment is presented is significant, even if it's a placebo. All right, because that's what they, and that's that example. They talk about the open hidden effect, as we said. That's talking about it's effective if the patient knows they're getting it. So that's the way that the treatment is presented. And I think some key sentences for us here. Treatment, just go back a bit. We've got treatment is always part medical, part ritual. So that's equal. And part of the outcome of what we do is the way we interact with patients. So the way a treatment is presented. That's a very good synonym there for A. All right. All right, lots of people got that. Is that clear, everyone? Anyone have any questions? Ask quickly, otherwise we'll be moving on, but I can see a lot of people worked it out. And it does take time, everyone. People spoke about time management. I'm demonstrating here, but you have to be methodical, and it's all about understanding. You're going to have to read sentences twice, rule in, rule out, back and forth. That's all part of that process, everyone. All right. Just checking. Good to see all my Facebook people here now as well. Tech asked, could you explain in simple language theatrical? Yeah, that was a hard word. It was interesting they used that word. So theatrical means here, that's the theater, right? So we can get that meaning like the austere consulting. That's part of the theater. The meaning of austere, you know, it's very clinical, quite sterile. You know, you walk into a doctor's surgery and, you know, that's not your territory. It's like, oh, this is a professional place. Look at all the instruments, look at the images, you know, and then you look at the doctor's clothing. The doctor's not dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. The doctor might have quite formal or might have the white coat on, all of these things, the stethoscope around the neck. That's the theater of medicine, right? So that's what they mean, the way that medicine is presented, the environment that it's presented in. All right, hope that answers your question there, Tech. All right, and let's do the last one, everyone, for today. In the first paragraph, the writer says that conventional management of phobias can be problematic because, right? So conventional management of phobias can be problematic. Why is something a problem? There's some problem, and we have to find a reason. And this is the writer says. Let's read it together, everyone. An irrational fear or phobia can cause the heart to pound or pulse or race. Okay, that's a definition. It can lead to a full-blown panic attack, and yet the sufferer is not in any real peril, in any real danger. All it takes is the glimpse of, for example, a spider's web, just a glimpse for the mind and body to race into panicked overdrive. Okay, that's our topic sentence. That's explaining what a phobia is, isn't it? Now, what are they going to say about phobia? We haven't spoken about management yet. These fears are difficult to conquer, largely because, so conquer means to manage, doesn't it? These fears are difficult to conquer, largely because, although there are no treatment guidelines specifically about phobia, the traditional way of helping the sufferer is to expose them to the fear numerous times. We're going to look at these sentences in a moment. Through the cumulative effect of these experiences, sufferers should eventually feel an increased sense of control over their phobia. Phew. For some people, watch out for this sentence, for some people, not all, for some people, the process is too protracted. What does that mean, everyone? It's too protracted, but there may be a shortcut. So there's a contrast. So if this means short, and but is an opposite word, that says shortcut, so short, that means too protracted means too long, takes too long, it's opposite. Even if you don't know the meaning of this word, you can deduce it by the contrast word but. Drugs that work to boost learning may help someone with a phobia to detrain their brain, sort of like untrain, not retrain, detrain their brain, losing the fearful associations that fuel the panic, put heat or put fuel on the fire to make it burn brighter. They fuel the panic. All right, let's have a look. The writer says that conventional management of phobias can be problematic because of the lasting psychological effects of the treatment. What do you think, everyone? Yes, no, maybe. The lasting psychological effects. Well, they do talk about through the cumulative effect of these experiences. So that matches cumulative effect, but it says effects of the treatment. Well, that's correct. The experiences is the traditional way of helping a sufferer is to expose them to fear numerous times. Okay, does this match? This is the question. But I can't see anything to say that the effects are lasting. We don't know that. I'm going to rule it out, everyone. It's tempting through the cumulative effect of these treatments. It's tempting. Sufferers should eventually feel an in, but it says this is a positive. Through the cumulative effect of these treatments, sufferers should eventually feel an increased sense of control. So it's not a lasting psychological effect. They're actually going to get control. So this is the really dangerous one, everyone. I see these questions really tempt people because it's half right, but you only know it's wrong when you read the whole sentence. Okay, next one. The time required to identify the cause of the phobia. Well, we did mention the process is too protracted. Yes, that it might take time, but that's the time to treat it, not to identify the cause. So again, it's not half right. They do talk about the time required, but it's not to identify the cause of the phobia. They already know the cause. It's to treat the phobia. So if I change this one, the time required to, if I put a different word and I wrote in treat the phobia, it would be correct, right? So that's why you have to be analytical when you read. If you miss that point, you get the answer wrong. So if you're not picking up on that, then you're not analyzing enough. That's what you need to do. Go to the next one. The limited choice of therapies available to professionals. Well, they do mention, although there are no treatment guidelines, that sort of means there's a limited choice of therapy. However, this is a dependent clause. Although there are no treatment guidelines specifically about phobias, the limited choice. Well, if we read half a sentence, it's correct. But we need to read the second half, which brings us to D. Although there are no treatment guidelines specific about phobias, the traditional way of helping the sufferer is to expose them to the fear numerous times. So it doesn't say, it's not, the focus is not the limited choice, and it's conventional management of phobias can be problematic because of limited choice. No, that's not why they're problematic. All right, that's not the reason. So it doesn't answer the question. And remember this, everyone, this is a dependent clause. We know it's a dependent clause because it starts with the word although. So you've got to know your grammar, everyone. As soon as you see that word, as soon as you see something is a dependent clause, then that is a sign to you that there's a good chance this is not the answer, because answers are in the independent clause, which comes after the comma. So I really urge you, always pay attention to that level of sentence structure. Many answers are found in the independent clause because the independent clause represents the main idea. If you can master this strategy alone, your reading will improve. practice this the next time you read an article. D says, the need of the phobia to be confronted repeatedly over time. The traditional way of helping the sufferer is to expose them to the fear numerous times. So we've got lots of synonyms here. The phobia to be confronted, that means to expose them numerous times, repeatedly over times. It matches, all right? And that's problematic because just that whole process, right? But the good news is, and that's the problematic side of things, having to expose them again and again, all right? But now they have a shortcut. It goes on to say, drugs that work to boost learning may help someone with the phobia to detrain their brain. So this is a way to help that process, losing the fearful associations that fuel the panic. Answer D. A lot of people wrote in D. Well done. Good on you. All right. Hello to Farad. Farad says the main idea question, always repeat the idea in the context. Yes, well, it'll either repeat or there'll be connected ideas that lead to a final answer. It could just be in one sentence and a number of facts lead us, you know, like cause and effect. They give examples, and then after the example, they might have a summary sentence identifying that main point. All right. Well done, everyone. So look, we've only looked at 3 questions today. Bottom line, reading part C. I picked a couple of tough ones, but people did pretty good. You've just got to practice it. Don't have any expectation that you're going to get 8 out of 8. You might start by only getting 2 or 3 correct. But as you build your skill, your scores will go up. And if there are 8 questions in a text, there will always be a couple of questions that are quite tough. But there'll also be a range of questions that are in the middle or even a little bit easier. So you've just got to build that skill and don't expect to get them all right. I think if you can set a target of 6 out of 8, you're doing excellent. 6 out of 8 is excellent. 5 may be enough if you're very good with your part A's and your part B's. All right. Now, what are you going to do aside from this? Look, you're here today attending this class. That's wonderful. But I want to help those people, maybe you're new, you've just decided, oh, I need to take OET. I've got my medical license. I want to work overseas and I know my reading skills are weak. What am I going to do to improve? Well, number one, just read every day, right? It doesn't matter where you're at. If you want to be good at reading at this level, because remember, it's a high level, then read every day to build your medical and academic vocabulary and to improve your reading speed. That is number one. That's not a if, you know, but maybe you must do this. Read every day in English and try to pitch your level just a little bit higher than your current English level. Read texts which challenge you. You don't have to go straight to medical journals. You can build your way up. But read every day. Read articles, opinion articles about health are very good. Things which are similar that have the writer's opinion, those sorts of, you know, perspective articles, read every day. And if anyone's got any suggestions about their favorite reading websites, drop it in the chat to share with your fellow viewers. I like Medscape's a good one. Perspectives in Medscape. The WHO website is very good. There's a lot of great content out there. Number 2, keep a notebook. You know, when you're reading, make sure any new words and expressions you learn, you want to write them down to build that vocabulary. It's a traditional way of learning. It's going to work. Keep it on your computer, keep it on your device, however you choose to do it. But That's going to really help you build the skills. For part A, there's a lot of technical language for tests and procedures, so make note of that. For part B and C, there's a lot of academic vocabulary and idioms, not just medical words, and synonyms that you need to be building up. Critical thinking, we just spoke about that. Whenever you're reading, you do need to think deeply and read between the lines when making choices. Build that skill through practice. Review, very important. After you complete any reading task, make sure you review the answers you got wrong by studying the text. You can't just walk away. You have to go over and analyze it. That's important. And working on improving your understanding of complex sentences, dependent and independent clauses is vital, as well as continuously building your vocabulary. Track your progress, everyone. Keep a record. If your exam's coming up close and you're starting to do practice tests, keep a record of your scores for tasks that you can complete. And then you can track that progress and watch your scores go up. See the rewards of your hard work. We always have students who tell us how much they improve over time. Quite incredible. With intense study, you really can develop that skill. Confidence. You need to develop the confidence, right? You've got to develop the confidence in your ability, and you'll only do that through regular study. Remember, you won't have a teacher to help you on exam day. You must be able to do it yourself. So don't just be reliant on all of these videos that you see myself and all the other great presenters provide. That's not enough. That's giving you skills. But at the end of the day, you need to own it yourself. So there has to be that independence, that self-study element, which allows you to make correct deductions yourself through that practice. You need to own it. Lastly, patience. Do be patient with yourself. You're going to have some papers that are just hard and you may not do as well as you wanted. And that improvement, in reading, it takes time and daily practice. I think it can take long to develop good reading skills than it can to develop good writing skills. For writing, you can learn the grammar, we can learn patterns, and we can actually, with effort, improve quite quickly. Reading, there's such a variety of vocabulary out there, it can take time. That's why we need that daily practice. But have fun while you're doing it, and enjoy it. Do some pleasure reading, and it will help you achieve your dreams. Take a screenshot of that, everyone. Pin it up on your wall and just focus on that, and you'll be amazed how much better you will get over time. It is very doable. All right? Believe in yourself, everyone. And we're done. Thanks for coming today. If you want to fast track your progress, come over to our website and sign up to one of our courses. We have a free taster course where you can check it all out. It's oetonline.net.au. We can help you with writing, speaking, reading, listening. You can do single skill courses. If you just need help with reading, check out our great reading course options. If you want to do an all skills, then check out our all skills options. And just to make sure everyone knows where we are, this is our website, everyone. And this is our free taster course, so check it out here. Great course options. I can see a few OET Online students with us here today. Thanks for coming for this session as well. And if you want to know how to sign up, you just click create a new account, and I'll just drop that link into the chat for everyone. It's free. Check out what we do, see if it suits what you're looking for. And look forward to helping you achieve success. All right. Thanks for coming today. Have a great one. Work hard and good luck in your next OET